Well, you can't help but be excited. Round 2 of the Australian GT Championship presented by Pirelli, and it's a capacity field for the Phillip Island 101. 3 hours of racing, 35 cars, more than 20 outright cars in the championship class. It's going to be a really interesting weekend. A 3-hour race, points after lap 40, V8 stars here for the weekend. GT stars set to be a big weekend at the island. Can't wait to see what unfolds.
Slippery conditions. Phillip Island's always one of those tracks in the wet that you've got to have your nerves about you, because if you do happen to have an off, it's very fast. Coming from V8 supercars where there's only 25 cars, so here we have such a diverse spectrum of cars and different classes as well.
The type of car I think that you actually dream about driving around here, because it's a track that's made for ground effects, and it's also a track that's suited to these cars. So much different to a V8 supercar. They slide around, they move around a lot, and these do to an extent, but when you get to a place like here where you're coming onto this awesome straight here at 220 k's an hour plus, the last thing you want to be doing is having a big slide.
Friday, and this is our practice day. We have 3 practices. We've already had one already, which was sort of damp, and now the sun is coming out, so it's drying out, so we have a very dry track, and hopefully by this afternoon for the 3rd practice, it'll be fully dry.
Still pretty new to it, so obviously the session was red flagged and had a few issues in it, but obviously to come out and put a good lap time in towards the end was awesome. We've still got practice and qualifying to go yet, so we'll see where we stand after that and we can go from there.
First run in the dry and the second practice, that was a bit of an eye-opener. Like, this place is just crazy fast. It makes Bathurst feel slow. It's all about just trusting the car, so I'm sort of just trying to get comfortable, and yeah, I think come race time I'll be comfortable and we should be in a good position.
Graham's done the majority of the running today for our car, learning the circuit, done a fantastic job, and so we had planned for me to do the last run. I did cop a slap from one of the Audis heading out of pit lane, but you get that on the big jobs sometimes. So our car's good. I think the track's pretty average, so we're not going to go chasing it. I know we're up the front where we need to be. Like a few more laps, so I guess I'll get that in quality tomorrow.
Like, I've never driven this thing before, and I've always wanted to drive something as beautiful and red as that, and it's pretty frightening around a high-speed circuit when you've never driven a car before, so to be P4 is awesome. Well, as good as that is, it's still only practice, but we've got qualifying tomorrow, and I should be a bit more familiar with the car and the circuit by then, so, anything's possible. It's 101 laps after all.
Well, it's an interesting day today at Phillip Island as we get ready for round 2 of the Australian GT Championship presented by Pirelli. Qualifying today has got a little bit of a twist to it. In fact, it's got a double twist to it. For the first time in AGT history, 2 qualifying sessions, each driver to compete in each of them, and then we aggregate the times to determine the grid positions for this afternoon's 3-hour, 101 lap Phillip Island 101. It's 3 hours or 101 laps, whichever comes first. There's 2 compulsory pit stops and a race that is sure to be interesting in every class.
Well, I've always been a supporter of the Pro-Am approach, and I think splitting the quali between you know, as an average of both times is actually quite fair. No one gets an unfair leg up, which is a bit artificial when you put a gun in the car and then get a position that way. So to actually have an average of both is honestly the fairest way to do it.
We're going to run the first qualifying session. We're aiming for top 6. Nathan's doing a good job, so I think our aggregate time is going to be very good.
It's a little bit tough. Obviously, a massive rebuild going from the 12C to 650. The boys work really, really hard, but unfortunately, somewhere along the way, it hasn't quite come together. So, yeah, we're lacking traction control and also ABS. It's not the end of the world, but definitely makes us work out a little bit harder. So, yesterday the rain was a bit of fun, but once it dried up, it didn't go too bad. We'll put some new tyres on and see how qualifying goes.
Fabulous. Every time you drive a GT car around this track, you've got to be happy. I had really trouble to get a clean lap in, so the last lap was half decent for me, so that was okay.
Coming to terms with the Porsche is just fun. It's just such an awesome car. Great field, and so I'm getting a little bit better each time, so that was really good.
This is why we do this. Chris and I had a cool battle in quali at Adelaide, and it was me in front that time, and we were sort of nose to tail, and I think we had a quicker car than Chris. I knew after Sector 1 that we had a better lap on. The car was just hooked, and yeah, I was cheering over the line, man. I was stoked. That's just cool. 2 poles in a row. Hopefully, if Graham can do the job.
Car felt pretty good actually, and I think that last lap I had green sectors in my first 2 sectors and it was looking really good, but just as we crested Lukey Heights we had an oil pressure alarm, and so it was just a matter of getting the engine switched off and making sure we were up there for the race. But we're still second in class, so not all bad.
It's the quickest I've ever been around here, downforce, ABS, traction control. It sort of makes my job a lot easier, and I can just concentrate on enjoying the car. But yeah, a bit of a tough qualifying session, lots of slower cars and trying to pick a clear lap. We're all race drivers and wanted to knock off Lester and Mees.
When I work well together, we both have the mindset that we need to finish first, as in finish the race first. We've got a good strategy, car feels good, race car's good. Qualifying didn't go to plan, but it's 1 hour, 1 lap, pretty much a 3-hour race, so we're just going to pace ourselves and see where we are at the end.
It's going to be such a long race. There'll be a lot happening through the race. Obviously with strategy as well, the pit stop times, so everyone's relevant pit stop times is going to mix things up through the race as well. So we all get excited about qualifying, driving fast, but in reality I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. So we just need to make sure we're on the lead lap with about 30, 40 to go and see what we can do.
It was lap 2 and everyone's sort of been argy-bargy and doing what they do. I don't think it's anyone's fault. Rod's Audi Ultra was stalling or going to limpo, and all of a sudden he was directly in front of me, so I had to avoid him, otherwise the crash would have been even worse. So I got on the grass at 230 k's.
After being out of a car for three or 4 seasons, to jump back in and be punching out, you know, in podium position in a Ferrari that I've never driven, far out. A couple of times I got balked by traffic and he just got me, and then I'd get him back and I could hold him. We had the speed on him, but it just depends on traffic, you know, it's a game of chess out there.
us back onto the tail of the train, so it's got us our lap back from our big long pit stops, and you know, goodness knows what Moosey can do. If anyone can pass everyone, he can.
Having 2 race wins in 2 weeks is something special, and you know, with Cricky and the boys from MPC and Jem McPam, it's always nice to be with them. It's a lot of fun. We are just laughing all day, and you know, like, it's my second Australian GT race this year, and we already won it. So even with the big pit stop penalty we have, we were a bit lucky with safety car, that's for sure. But to finish first, you have first to finish. So I'm quite happy.
It was tough because obviously we had to deal with a lot of traffic at those safety car restarts, so it's dead set like dodging cars when you're coming through like that, and you try and time the run down the front straight so that no one jumps over the top of you. So it's a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun with Tony D'Alberto and Christopher. He was quick through the traffic as well. He had probably a more lap speed than we did, but we were literally flat out from the time I got in the car, absolutely flat out. The guys have done a great job. McLaren have done a great job with this car. So yeah, it's been fun to do.
I think we had quite a big gap there, probably half a lap before the safety car. Richard radioed through when the safety car came out and said, oh, you'll have these guys coming from about 15 cars back, so just put your head down and go from there. And I did, and I got a pretty good restart, and I was punching out some pretty good laps, but then obviously just pushing a little bit too hard and made a mistake and went off. To race with guys of this calibre, I'm just super happy to be here and to be going the way we are. Couldn't ask for much more, really.
You know, obviously we were leading the race there for quite a while there, and safety cars didn't go our way, but certainly we're competitive in this car. The car is fantastic, so yeah, really going to enjoy this season.